The Heroes of Might and Magic series is a franchise that has laid dormant for quite some time. The last release was Might and Magic 7, which came out back in 2015. While there have been several similar games to come out since then, including the very solid Songs of Conquest and Age of Wonder games, nothing beats a good old Heroes experience. 10 years later from the 7th installment, we have a demo for the latest installment entitled Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Developed by Unfrozen and co-published by Hooded Horse and Ubisoft, this entry aims to be a throwback to Heroes 3 along with some new elements. Does this demo show enough promise, or is it better for the Heroes franchise to remain in hibernation? So when you start the game, you can pick the tutorial or jump into a match using quick play. We will go more into the quick play later, but we will start with the tutorial just to see how the overall gameplay flow will be. For a tutorial, it does a great job getting players not familiar with the Heroes franchise some much needed guidance. The tutorial is split up mainly into 2 missions. Each mission has you take control of the human faction known as the Temple. The first mission is pretty straightforward in how to proceed, while the second tutorial introduces castle management and going against other players. It overall does a great job highlighting the overall game flow and what people should expect. And now let's pivot towards where most of my time went into this demo, and that is with quick play. In quick play, there are 3 modes to play: Arena, Classic, and Single Hero. Classic is the traditional Heroes experience, so we will focus on that for now. We will tackle the other 2 modes later in this review. In this demo, there are 3 map templates to select from, 4 factions, and a boatload of heroes under them to pick from. The 4 factions are Temple, Necropolis, Dungeon, and Schism. The early access version plans to have 2 additional factions, bringing the total up to 6. For my classic game, we will choose Schism and pick the hero Changeling Ergo to start things out for us. The map template I chose was fair and square, which limits the amount of heroes you can have based on the number of castles you currently own. And now let's get to the overall game flow. If you've played any Heroes of Might and Magic game before, especially 3, you'll feel right at home with what to expect. You'll have your castles where you can build 1 building per turn. Constructing buildings not only costs gold, but also will cost specific resources. The resources are the standard wood, stone, gems, crystals, and mercury. A new resource is also introduced known as alchemical dust. Alchemical dust is unique for being the only resource that cannot be produced. This will need to be found out in the world or at certain buildings as rewards. Having alchemical dust is an interesting addition, adding a legitimate finite resource to manage. The other big change are the additions of laws. As you upgrade your main keep, you'll generate law points. Law points can eventually be used to enact laws, which ultimately act as bonuses. Many of these include generating gold per turn, increasing growth in the cities, and increasing the combat effectiveness of your overall units. So overall, I do like this system and the potential of it. However, I do wish that there was more uniqueness with the laws for each faction. And speaking of units, you can recruit and upgrade them as expected. This is not necessarily a new thing, but this entry features 2 upgrade paths to choose from. Each upgrade path is more than just a stat boost, as many of them feature new abilities that can radically change how you play a match. Some abilities include being able to counterattack twice and even inflict negative status effects with each attack. This is a pretty cool feature, although I'm expecting there to be some sort of meta once experienced by the multiplayer community. Since these map templates are of the larger size in this demo, most of your time will be spent fighting neutral armies. If you are stronger than them, they will run away and you'll have an opportunity to chase them down. There's also auto-resolve introduced if you want to go down that route. Early on, and especially against other players, you'll most likely participate in battles manually. If you've played Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the hexagonal battle layout is basically the same here. You can either move, attack, or skip your turn once a unit of yours is able to move. While most of your fighting is done by your creatures, your hero can also influence the battle in many ways. The most common and known one is the use of spells. Once per round, you can cast a spell that does direct damage, or a number of spells that either boost your troops or debuff the enemies. There are a crap ton of spells to discover either from your towns and the mage guilds from out in the wild. Many of these are borrowed from the prior Heroes title, while others are brand new. The magic system works well here, as well as the spells that can be used on the overworld. There's also a new meter to watch out for called Focus. Filling up the focus meter by attacking or getting attacked will create focus points. Focus points are then used for unit abilities, as well as the ability for your hero to perform an attack. I like the idea of the focus meter, using it to spend on unit abilities, but I'm not sure how I feel about it being linked to the hero attack. Hero 5's had a pretty good system where the hero could attack any unit on the field once per round. That worked well there, and I would have liked to have seen the hero attack not need focus charges this time around. Most of your battles will be on the open field, but there will be the occasional castle battle to participate in. These can be quite intense, especially playing against an opponent. As an attacker, you'll have the ability to shoot a catapult on the walls to destroy them. As a defender, you may be able to use archery towers to defend depending on your wall level. This is where ranged and flying creatures can go a long way to secure victory as the attacker or even the defender. Flying units such as dragons and phoenixes can bypass traps and walls to attack the enemy. Ranged units can shoot their targets regardless if any walls are in the way. Standard melee units can still be effective, but may need to bait the enemy to leave the comfort of their walls. It's quite fun and definitely was a highlight in one of my playthroughs. All these battles will lead to leveling up, which will allow you to choose one of 3 skills. The 3 skills may be a new one or improving upon one you've already owned. When improving upon a skill, you can then choose a secondary skill to go along with it. The options here lead to quite the large variety of build types, going from pure magic based all the way to pure might based. You can even have others that make you more of a general, such as the ability to persuade neutral enemies to join your army, and even the logistics skill to improve your traveling across the overworld. And we should talk about the overworld, as that is what you'll be doing for a majority of the game. There honestly isn't too much to talk about here, with many of the buildings being borrowed from prior games. You get your resource production buildings as well as dwellings to recruit certain troop types. The random map generator can be a bit crazy in terms of what you'll run into. Sometimes you'll find a Pandora's box that gives you a crap ton of spells right off the bat, while others will have an army of tier 7 creatures guarding a standard gold mine. I expect this to be ultimately ironed out during its time in early access. So while I did enjoy my time with the demo, I have to point out that most of what I liked is what is featured in prior Heroes of Might and Magic titles. It's no secret that many of the mechanics are borrowed from Heroes 3. Heck, even many of the sound effects are ripped straight from that game. Heroes often follows a formula that works very well, but we have seen alterations like the aforementioned Songs of Conquest that can bring a bit of a fresh perspective. I'm hoping the other factions can bring in some new units and concepts that we haven't seen in prior titles. And please, for the love of all that is might and magic, can the hero models actually look like their damn portraits? It's been 8 games now and we still use the generic hero models for the armies. I honestly would like to see these portraits get properly represented with proper models. Songs of Conquest was able to do this, so I don't see why Heroes of Might and Magic cannot. I get that it'll add development time, but it'll do so much to add to the world building. As for the other modes, you have the arena mode, which is pretty cool for one battle. You pick your hero, your skills, your troops, and the artifacts. The way this is set up is that you're able to pick one of 3 options. So for example, if you want to pick a troop, you can pick 2 Phoenixes, 12 Hydras, or 24 Minotaurs. It's an interesting mode that I can see get quite a bit of playing time, especially in the multiplayer. The other is single hero, which is the same as classic, but you only have one hero to work with. You are not able to hire any heroes, and killing the enemy hero essentially ends the game. This is honestly quite fun, and I can see this working very well on smaller maps. This can be great for shorter games while still maintaining that hero's game flow. Heck, I can even see an 8-player brawl battling out with their one hero trying to outmaneuver each other. But before I wrap this up, I do want to talk about the presentation. Overall, I do like the graphical style, including many of the portraits that were used specifically for the Schism faction. Some players see it as generic, but it works well enough and features some pretty cool models. It definitely would have been interesting to see if they would copy the art style from Heroes 3, but that may be a style lost to time. The music seems very familiar to past titles, but doesn't hit the same. I wasn't able to confirm, but I don't believe Rob King nor Paul Romero are involved. The credits section is currently grayed out, so I am not sure who the composer is. Overall, I definitely did enjoy playing through Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. I am especially looking forward to when this game is released in early access to see the development and progress. While I do like the new features such as laws and alternate upgrade paths, I'm not sure that it'll be enough to move the Heroes of Might and Magic 3 faithful into the Olden Era. They are a passionate bunch who still play the game to this day and even have created several mods many years later. Still, I do hope that this title will carve out a positive legacy for the Heroes franchise. Thank you all for watching as always, and this is Powerhouse, signing off.